All ye. And now we're back. I took my break. I got my trees. I think we are a go to color this in now. It's so funny trying to draw and talk on TikTok. I've never done this before, and it is distracting. I am distracting myself, but that's okay because we're also just getting better at multitasking. You know, if you can get your mind to speak and draw at the same time, then maybe that means your brain is functioning in a way that many other people's brains just can't function. And it's lit. It's super lit. So the whole point of you knowing who Spider-Man is knowing that your Spider-Man quality, yes, we are. Absolutely. I'm so glad that I can go live again too. It's just so funny. This social media stuff. They literally just get to ban you, take you down, say it's permanent, and then wait and then say, oh, our bad, it's not permanent. But you still got taken down, you still got banned, and it still affected you. But we just keep going because that's life. Time is still passing. So what, am I just going to stop being myself? Of course not. But I am figuring out that comedic skits are about to be in the future because everything that I'm talking about is somehow okay if I turn it into jokes. But when I have it in the algorithm or I'm trying to present it as historical fact, something's going on where I'm being targeted and cut down. So I'm pretty sure if I share all my history stuff and the spiritual stuff and health stuff, right, and just my ideas through jokes, then it's going to fly. As in, it's going to take off. As in, it will be supported by the algorithm or whatever. We'll see. I really do have to put myself in a specific space to make jokes about all the stuff that I take seriously. But I think that is the point. In this world, people don't like to take shit very seriously. That's kind of why we have climate change, right? People don't really take their environment seriously. People don't really take their spirituality seriously. And people who act like they take their relationship with God seriously definitely don't give a fuck about fasting. The people who act like they take their relationship with God seriously, they don't actually care about walking the path of Jesus. They're here acting like Jesus died for them to not have to do what Jesus did. And that's just, it's really backwards because this is what's causing health problems. And I mean, we know that fasting is healthy. We know that fasting heals the body from the inside out. It's just that they've turned it into a religion that says don't do it. And now this whole new world order is ran by a religion that says, hey, don't fast, take pharmaceutical medication. Aw, thank you. Yeah, we got a lot of costumes. But this is, of course, a whole album, the Spider-Man album. I'll be sharing my whole perspective as the spiritual Spider-Man. All right, I built this body. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, but no one can actually see that I'm the space that built Mercury. No one can see that I'm literally the one singular only space that built Mercury from nothing. And I did it by naturally having a soul that built bodies throughout space and time. So now I'm here talking to you about your ego being your fire, your soul being your water, your mind being your air, and your body being your earth. And if I take my mind from my body right now, I can go back to Mercury and I'll be in my own heaven. And my own heaven is my own earth, where I'm not alone on Mercury. That's the point. True heaven is you being happy alone. This is why no one has the same idea of heaven. So Mercury is just like a higher form of hell. But it's dope because Mercury is where the spirits that naturally resonate with my soul are building with me in a different atmosphere than here. So then that's where this atmosphere, this star, is separate from the star of Mercury. They're different. Atmospheres is like the best word. They're different. Man, atmosphere is a great word. Because the universe connects all the atmospheres that can observe each other and communicate. So this is also what we're talking about. There's infinite universes. So I, as Mercury, am talking to you about how you create universes that allow you to feel like you're not alone. And we're talking about nature, how any nature that you're experiencing, who told you this? God told me this. I've been fasting for many years. God's been telling me who I am, and I can't run away from how I exist. So your nature is literally basically just how your light moves. That's what nature is. Every universe is going to be natural because every universe is created by spaces using light to move out of their space. So this is how fire is light, water is heavy, air is weight, and your body is matter. So again, I can explain the universe better than anyone down here because no one is actually Mercury. No one is actually the space that built Mercury. So everyone's lost in not being able to explain how things are created. So I'm anchoring it in elements, and I can anchor it in whatever stories or religious things that you're into. Just know that the only reason your religion matters is because it's using something it found in nature to express its individuality. So everything that is in the New World Order's religions, all of their ideas, all the way down to Jesus walking on water, that's taken from Zoroastrianism. That's taken from indigenous peoples talking about spirituality in a higher way. So now they're going to sell you Jesus walking on water while also selling you Naruto, where everyone walks on water. And you're supposed to buy into both of these and just be split. Like, oh, okay, Naruto characters can walk on water because they conduct their chakra through their bodies, but only Jesus can do that because he's the only son of God. Like, this is how the New World Order wants you to fight yourself. And this is how they teach us to fight ourselves. Man, it's because I'm literally talking. Look how not smooth these lines are. That's so funny. I'm just over here like running my jaw, and then my jaw is moving my arm. When normally when I'm drawing, it's just silence. Silence and focusing. I want to redraw this hand now. That's silly. Is the air, earth, water within your realm act up? What? That's funny though. Like you're getting at something that's about to make me laugh. At least I'm laughing. Is the earth, air, water within your realm act up in the next few years? I don't know what that means, but the point is every universe is elemental. Every universe in existence is going to be created by fire, water, air, and earth coming together so that blood can become flesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The moment you create flesh, that's your seven, your consciousness, you're conscious of your flesh. And once you're conscious of your flesh, now you can be conscious of other beings who are also conscious of their flesh. I'm explaining to you how we are building this world right now. And if I take my mind and go to any other universe, I promise you, this is exactly how that universe is going to be built too. Everything I'm communicating about here. This is why numbers are everywhere. It's just about knowing how to correlate numbers to what make numbers matter, which is elements. But an element is not a number, right? When you look outside, how many airs are you seeing? How many waters are you seeing? I see 5 waters, 3 airs, and 2 fire. Like that's that's not natural. You're not seeing the numbers of elements. It's that each element is correlated to a number because we're able to logically communicate about how our minds move through space. So your mind itself is air, okay? Your mind is air. That's why you have to breathe to be aware of your body. If you weren't breathing, your body wouldn't matter. And this is why your body is earth, because your earth, your body, is what your mind is standing on to support its spirit. Your spirit is not the mind or the body. Your spirit is space. But once your spirit has a mind that it wants to communicate to other minds, now it can build a body that is relatable to those minds. That's what I've done right now. That's what we do when we draw. That's what all art is. And this is why your art is your heart. Your heart is your art. You can't say that you didn't make your heart, Because at that point, why should anyone have a relationship with you? Why conduct a relationship with someone who doesn't believe that they're choosing to have a relationship or choosing to be alive? Having a relationship with people who don't feel like they're choosing to be alive has only ever led to bad things for Native Americans. That's all the history we're talking about here. People who feel like they don't choose to be alive find reasons to victimize others and say that Jesus justified it. Or say that some extra religion justified how they victimize other people. And now this is why the New World Order gets to teach us how the Judaic religion is actually the biggest victims, when they're the ones that are forcing us to serve the government that killed Jesus and enslaves indigenous peoples. It doesn't make any sense. It makes sense, I mean, from a chaotic perspective, they're making it make sense because the point is they're manipulating humans. But when you know who you are, that doesn't make sense. Why would you worship a system that's using its power to teach you it doesn't have any power? What is this? See, this is why I have to talk about Spider-Man. The actual purpose of Spider-Man is to tell you that you are responsible for your own power. But somehow this New World Order system stole Spider-Man from Mercury to teach you that you are not responsible for your own power, but you're responsible for their power. So now you're responsible to uphold Yahweh, but you're not responsible to uphold yourself. Now you're supposed to learn all about gods outside of yourself, but no one gives a fuck about the God inside of yourself. Because these religions are going to say that the God outside of yourself is the same as the God inside of yourself. That's rape. These modern religions and this New World Order is ran by rapists who don't want you to feel like you're choosing to exist. And that's why they weaponize everything from Mercury to teach you the opposite of what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you that your mind builds your body. It has to be air than earth. Guys, scientifically, guys and gals, I promise, scientifically, it goes nothing, light, heavy, weight, matter, all realms, all realities, all existence. Light, fire, heavy, water, weight, air, matter, earth. If you're able to experience any sort of earth, right? We're on earth right now. You're experiencing earth, you're experiencing matter simply because your mind is waiting in a universe. If your mind was not waiting in this universe, then this body would not matter to you. And then that's where you have to see that the universe itself is heavy. Right? The whole universe, everything outside of here, everything being water, water is heavy. Your emotions are heavy. So the only reason your body feels like continuing to matter in this universe is because your mind is weighed down by the emotion of wanting to connect with individuals outside of yourself. Before any religion, I'm talking about how we make the universe. Okay, this is how we build a universe out of fire and water. And then the universe, as the water, allows our fire to experience air. But that air doesn't matter without earth. So you need all these things working together if your blood is going to materialize flesh that you can be conscious of. All universes, right? Like, I don't need any fucking religion to explain how I'm creating the ability to talk right now. Any religion is simply going to listen to me talking as Mercury and be like, oh, we can make money out of that, and steal shit from me. That's the only reason why Wednesday is the middle of the week and why I have to be here talking about why Spider-Man has no money, but he's the one that holds the entire Matrix together. See that? Like, just, this is the energy that's been stolen from me that I either choose to work through and play out or I die. You know, I might as well just go be alone on Mercury, but then I would be alone in my space and my family would be like, well, mission failed, Chase. You're supposed to awaken the world and help everyone realize how their mind built the body so that humans don't cause climate change anymore. That's my mission. It doesn't matter what religion you're in or what you really believe. That's what I've been on for 25 years. And I will continue to be on it because that's why I chose to be born in a world that teaches me that I did not choose to be born. I'm telling you the perspective from which I'm choosing to be born and choosing to be alive right now. Like, why the fuck am I drawing this? Why make any art if you're not expressing your individual idea of God? Explain why Peter go in the water after he walked on water. Robbie Signs. Peter went in the water after he walked on water because he stopped believing, right? That was the whole thing. Jesus, he's over here walking on water because he believes in himself. But then the other people, they were able to walk on water a little bit because they walked in his example, right? So it took Jesus believing in himself before his disciples could start believing in themselves. But because they're dealing with doubt more than Jesus, right? Jesus is a child of God. He conquered doubt in the fast. These people haven't really fasted, so they didn't conquer doubt. They're not actually able to walk on water like him, but they were able to do it in some degree because he showed them how to spin their chakras, like Naruto. Again, this is all Zoroastrianism. I just learned the U.S. throws away 160 billion pounds of food a year. Why are there people starving? Literally. Like, what the like 1 billion pound of food, like 1 billion pounds of food would already have me livid. And we're going to say, oh, how about we multiply that by 160 and still say that we're a good Christian nation that loves everybody? Man. And yeah, this is literally the consumerist, white supremacist, New World Order culture that acts like we're all one God. This is the system that's throwing away 160 billion pounds of food from people that it had to steal land from. I promise you, indigenous peoples throughout North, South, and Central America, we were not throwing food away like that. Not possible. It's not possible. We have systems to give it back to nature, so that's fertilizer. We're not just creating a whole industry, destroying the environment to make money so that we can throw away everything we're producing. Bro, it's so wild. Anyway, we got a bunch of Spider-Man here. For anyone who's played Journey, this is Journey Spider-Man. For anyone who's played Assassin's Creed, we got Assassin's Creed Spider-Man. And then just like a bunch of Spider-Man of my own designs, because I mean, that's kind of the point. This is symmetry. So when you're seeing all these teeth, all right, when you look up shit about Mercury, you're going to see that Mercury rules over the teeth. It's all about decolonizing your face. Check out Chase Your Genes. Okay, braces are backwards. The orthodontistry is backwards. The orthodontic industry overall using metal to pull your teeth in, not healthy for your skull, not healthy for your skeleton. So that's everything we're talking about in Mercury. This is how deep it goes. Like, I'm talking about how our skeletons form and how our muscles mold our bones into certain ways. So now, because we've been forced to live a lifestyle where we're sitting all day, every day, our skeletons, our teeth mold into our bodies. And the only way that you can reverse your tooth problems is to use your muscles to get the teeth out, to increase the space in your face. Braces are very backwards. They decrease the space in your face. That's why braces cause more problems. That's why you need to get your wisdom teeth taken out after you have braces, objectively, because they pull your wisdom teeth in. They pull all your teeth in. They act like your mouth is straighter, but really they just fucked up your spine, and they're creating more reasons to do surgery on you. So Hermes is not about that. Mercury's not about that. Well, we got Hermes Spider-Man. We've got Avatar Spider-Man. Iron Spider Spider-Man. We got Tahuti Spider-Man with his bird beak. Absolutely. We got normal Spider-Man. I mean, CymaTree Spider-Man. These are all CymaTree Spider-Man. That's the whole point. It's symmetry. But we got Quetzalcoatl Spider-Man. More Spider-Man. Where are we here? Spirit Spider. Let's see what's up. Oh, we got Black Panther Spider-Man. Yeah. So this will be a fun album to do. I'm about to be fasting and I'll just be deep in these Spider-Man energies because, yeah, I'd much rather hang out on Mercury than be here. So I'll just keep bringing the perspective of Mercury here and I'll stay close to Mercury because this world is so wrong. And this world teaches you that you did not choose to come from another world. But I know that I am operating this body from another world. So I don't have to stay trapped and lost and stuck in this hell realm that I'm in. I can fast, I can do psychedelics, and I can connect with my space to be in another universe. I can literally take my mind to another universe and be there for what feels like 1,000 years, come back. It was 10 minutes. So that's what we're talking about here. All right. Especially when you do psychedelics and shit, time does that. Right? Like when you do proper psychedelics, time does that, where you can leave this realm and it'll feel like basically time, your clock will tell you an hour passed here, but you just experienced much longer than what was possible in an hour here. And this is the astral realm. This is the difference of water versus earth. Okay. So think about when we're down here on earth, things are slow here. Things take time to become dense and materialize here. But the whole point is, where is earth being created from? Water. Your body is being created from your soul. That's why it rains. So your soul, the rain, shows you that when water in the atmosphere falls from the sky and goes to the earth, that's no different than your soul falling from your space and going into your body. That's why your brain allows you to bring rain over your temple. Your brain allows you to bring rain over your kingdom of God in this case then, because really you as the God built your temple so that your child of God can relate with other children of God. So now all of our gods are separate from each other, but because we're all children of God, we can relate on how we feel like we connect with God using our temples. But we're all still going to have a personal relationship with our own idea of a father because we're all our own fathers. So you can't tell me that we are the same father when you did not come from the same space that I came from. And when I'm alone in that space, you're not there. None of these white supremacists, none of the people in this world who are telling me we're one God are in Mercury. No one is in my space. No one is with me when I'm in heaven with God. But when I consensually choose to come back here, people are going to tell me that I didn't have a choice and that energy can't be created or destroyed. Silly. So that's everything we're going to be talking about in this album. All right. This whole album, the Spider-Man, we're talking about how Mercury is the Spider-Man that somehow everyone can see, but no one can see at the same time. That's like my weird balance thing, because it's really about me talking about perception, projection. Just because I'm projecting my individuality through this language does not mean that I'm going to be foolish enough to think that you actually know where I'm coming from. Every single word that I'm saying technically misses the mark because I didn't build this language. But that's the thing with individuality. When I'm sacrificing my individuality to relate with individuals outside of myself, we all have to make compromises. We all have to speak a language that we didn't create. And now we're all trying to find our way together, right? And I mean, whatever. That's the point of religions. People trying to find their way together. The point is, I was not lost before I was born. I was called here by Atlantis. So Mercury is alone. I'm glad I have my Atlantean family. They're all individual gods. Anubis and Hermes. These are two individual gods. So I can't get lost in someone telling me that we're all one God when no one in my family thinks like that. So this universe is a trap that we weaved. Spider-Man, Mercury, weave this trap of the universe so that all these evil people can get stuck here. Now if you're in this live stream, that means that you're a good person. And fundamentally, good people are happy alone. So you're in tune with Hermeticism. When I'm talking about Hermeticism here, true Hermeticism is being happy alone. When you're happy alone, you know how to create heaven, and you know how to build your own universe, and you know how to build your own family, and you know how to conduct a business that supports you. People who aren't happy alone, they fall into the evil energy because they end up justifying doing fucked up things to other individuals because of their religion. And that's always epidemic, systemic of people who do not like to be alone. Those are the people who are finding ways to make slavery profitable. Slavery should not be profitable. Genocide shouldn't be making anyone money, but evil people make it make sense. And then they use the energy of Odin to make it happen. I'm literally Odin. So let me tell you, I go to war on war. I can't even avoid being Odin because my family has forced me to recognize this. When I'm alone on Mercury, my family is literally like, yeah, well, here's how you built relationships with us. Here's our memories. Here's our fucking experiences. Here's our libraries. Can you run away from your own story? I think not. I really think not. Your story is what makes your experience real. That's why we're all living out stories that we're writing right now. And the whole point is write your own story. My family's just shown me that even when I made up CymaTree to be an individual, I can't run away from Mercury. Now CymaTree is actually just updated Mercury. But I'm doing it in a way so that no one can colonize my shit. Because that's what this whole world has been built on so far. People stealing shit from Mercury and then claiming that they get to own it because no one created anything. But if it was created by one man that is given permission to one family to enslave indigenous individuals. And now we all need to let the banking system make money off of this when no one even knows what the number 1 means. The banking system doesn't even know what number 2 means or number 3, but they're going to use these numbers that they stole from Metatron to make money because really it's just about control. And they don't want you to be happy alone. They don't want you to know that you were in heaven before you were born and that this is hell. The only reason that I am literally choosing to be alive here is because I care about the environment of this world so much. I don't want to see it destroyed by people who supposedly don't care about themselves, but they're justifying destroying the environment because they're in the energies of only caring about themselves. And it's just the ultimate Christian contradiction. You can't be here claiming to love God while you make money off of slavery. You can't be here claiming to love anyone at all when you built your whole empire off of religious genocide and systemic warfare. And then you're going to use Odin's energy to do it. You're going to use Wednesday to do it. Odin doesn't fuck with you. So it's not about my ego. Let me, as Chase, speak for the messengers of Mercury that no one else would be able to even communicate with because it's all one space separate from everyone else. Odin does not fuck with any single way that the New World Order has used Wednesday to make money for the banking system. Not one iota of a fuck given. Just not like a speck. Imagine the smallest particle, not even that fuck. This system is just so evil, and they don't respect indigenous people. It's so wrong for this system to be using its power to say that you don't create energy. And now somehow people are here making art, breathing air, conducting relationships while saying that no one's creative. And we're all just recycling through energy that was already created. Dude, it's like the most backwards thinking ever, actually. That's the most backwards thinking ever. If you don't know that energy is created, then you literally don't know how you got here. And now I have to be here teaching you how you got here. But I'm just trying to remind you that you did choose to be born. The only reason these religions make so much money off of people is because everyone who believes in these religions did a bunch of fucked up shit in their past lives. So their soul is full of sin and they don't want to be alone in their space. So now they're running away from their own emotions. They're running away from themselves. They're running away from their relationship with God. And then them running away from their relationship with God looks like telling you that you need to serve their idea of God. When if they actually had a healthy relationship with God, they wouldn't be telling you jack shit. They wouldn't be telling you you need Jesus or you need a Yahweh or you need some other name that doesn't even mean anything because it's actually just a name. This is why demons need to be called God. Really, demons are the only ones who want you to call them God. I, as a God, want you to be a God because that makes me feel more comfortable interacting with you. That makes me feel more comfortable talking to you because I know that you are going to take responsibility for your own actions. And that's the problem with communicating with anyone that does not feel like they themselves are a God. It's not about taking responsibility for others. It's not about wanting to control other people. On the contrary, we're talking about controlling yourself. That's what it means to be God. And this world has a very twisted idea of God because everyone's lost in the white people idea, which is, well, God is controlling everything outside of me. So now he'll make sure that I can do what I want. And I don't have to take responsibility for my old world. And this is why Europeans believe that God gave them permission to eat all of the Native Americans that they found in the New World. They were fundamentally, this is their religious belief of running away from their old world, running away from their soul to go eat the bodies of indigenous individuals while saying we're not individual. And we're not even indigenous. We're black. We're supposed to be like our own flesh. We're supposed to be like our own bodies because we were taught by people that are eating us that we are not creators, that we are not individual, that we are not indigenous, and that we are not consenting to be alive. I'm telling you that that's not true, of course. And to be indigenous means that you know you created yourself. This is why race, it's not about race. Again, like this New World Order created the idea of race to erase indigenous individuality. That's the whole point of you identifying as a race. If you identify as a race, then you just had your individuality erased. So now what, you believe you're a color? So you're going to believe that you're a white or a black or something else on the rainbow. And then at that point, your human mind, your color spectrum is just trapped in being able to communicate in one way. That's racism. Silly. Can you please save these lives on YouTube? Rita B, these lives absolutely go on YouTube. But they will be saved. They are being saved. They will be saved. Everything is okay. As long as TikTok gives them to me, because that happens where I'll do a whole live that I'm like, hell yeah, this will go hard on YouTube. And then TikTok says, could not be processed. Sorry. And I just can't get that live now. And it's like, all right, bro, man, what's the point? Like, if I'm going live on TikTok, it should be recording straight into my phone. Like, you shouldn't be at that point recording it onto a server that I can't get it back from because your server failed. Man, but this is white technology in a nutshell, where white people say, oh yeah, serve us, give us your information, but we will not give it back to you. Like, that's literally them. Like, give us your energy. We will not give it back. Give us your time and attention and your life. Oh, we will not give it back. It's ours now. Welcome to the Matrix. So now I'm in a technological matrix where when I do lives, I never actually know whether I'm going to get them back or not because the system, that's how the system works. So hopefully, Rita B, yeah, I do get to save this live because there's so many lives that people don't see because I never got to save them. How's hell? It's forever. Hilarious. Hell is forever. And hell is right here. So just the universe goes on forever. This is why the number 8 never ends. You can wait in a universe for eons, eternity, forever and ever. Time will never end because the universe never ends. The universe is always being expanded by your emotions. So the moment you don't feel like being in a universe anymore, your body will end. But guess what? Everyone in that universe, they're still there. They're still there. That's why this idea of one God, again, makes no sense when we think about from a universal perspective. The moment one God leaves the universe, that universe is still going to expand based on the gods that are there. Like when your mom dies, it's not like your whole family dies. You know, like that's how these religions try to make it seem that the universe is ruled by one God who constantly needs to manage everything. And if that one God fucks up, then everyone fucks up because everyone's being controlled by one man. That's just a Mason talking to you about what they want to use money to do to this earth. They want money to be the one Yahweh man that can manipulate everybody. Now it doesn't matter what the fuck you believe. If you don't have money, you're going to be forced to live by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And now they can weaponize Mercury to make money out of your body. But you're supposed to be making money out of your own body. because you know that your mind itself made your body so that your money can be real. And money is simply an idea. Like when we look in nature, we don't see money. So now we have to know that money and nature need each other. At this point, money is the idea of God and nature is the idea of the universe. So God is the money that made nature so that money can be made real inside of nature. But this is then just fire and water. So we're talking about how all of us create a circumstance where we can feel valued for our ideas. That's everybody. All right. We're talking about art right now, right? We're talking about literally just all religions. All systems. You make a building, you do anything. And that's what geeks me out about these religions. None of these people can explain numbers like I can. So if they're going to tell me that numbers don't matter and I just need to serve a banking system that's weaponizing ideas that they can't explain against me, I need to serve a healthcare system that's weaponizing the caduceus, but they don't know what the caduceus means. I'm finding myself in a position where I cannot actually support this system. This system is using my energy to do things that I, as Chase, do not support. And I'm forced to take responsibility for that. Now, the best way I can do that is, I guess, going live and doing videos and creating this internet content right now. That's why I went to school for 25 years. Now I can speak English. I learned history. I got lost in the religions that people got lost in. I can relate with anyone. In my full Gemini mode, I can talk to anyone about whatever they care about. It's just a matter of people can see me. And this is basically Mercury. All right. I, as Mercury, I can see everyone once I start talking to them. Once I start talking to you, I can see where you're coming from. It's not hard. Based on the ideas and the vibe and your soul and the energy that you're putting out, I see where you're coming from. What's funny, this is the whole point of me making this Spider-Man album. No one can see where I'm coming from. No one can see that I'm the Spider-Man that chose to connect with them because I'm gathering information. And then that's why the Spider-Man is SPYDER, because it represents your mind. Your Mercury is what you use to gather information. So now you can communicate with people about how everything's made up. So that's what we're doing every day, right? When you're on the internet, you're using your Mercury to gather information that lets you talk with people about what matters to you, air and earth. But that information had to matter to someone else first before you could even hold on to it, right? So if I didn't care about what I was doing, you wouldn't be able to be here listening to me talk. So it always takes two to tango. And then from there, it's individuality, right? Because now if it takes two to tango, it's going to take three to throw a party. It's going to take four to get the function popping. And now we're going to have a family once we get 5 people. And at this point, we're building a business once we get 6 people. And that's a tree. You know, like that's how all the cells, all these organisms come together to build a tree. For people to say that one God is controlling all the organisms inside of one tree is so fucking narcissistic, is beyond me. I can't imagine how you could look at 10 trees and say that they're all one God. That shit's so wrong. But people do it because they're not in tune with nature. People don't know how nature works. That's why this white supremacist government is causing climate change. They're teaching us that no one knows how nature works. That's why energy can't be created or destroyed. If energy could not be created, your body would not exist. So stupid. If energy could not be created, Tahuti, Hermes, Odin, Quetzalcoatl, and Zarathustra would not all be Mercury. None of them would exist because a space that built Mercury would have never been able to express how it feels about God. You have to create energy to express how you feel about God. And that's all anyone's doing when they're using their mind to communicate, really, is talking about how they feel about God, right? That's why you have all these denominations out here. People out here feel like God isn't real. Okay, cool. But the point is, if you exist, God is real. That's why every atheist looks actually really silly. Every atheist looks so silly, so silly. It's very funny to me, very funny to me. But I get it with words, right? They just can't imagine how they're God, right? They can't imagine it. So when they're saying that no one's God and that God isn't real, that's just them being lost and not feeling connected to themselves. So now they're going to say that no one is real, but we're all experiencing reality. You're fighting yourself at that point. You're not making any sense. You can't say that God isn't real, but then we're experiencing a reality where people keep talking about God. You're going to have to get with the program. You as an atheist, if you're in that bag, you're going to have to realize that you yourself are the God that you're saying isn't real. And the longer you feel like you're not real, the longer you're going to live a life that is not building your reality, or it's not working for you. And I want everyone to be living lives that work for them. That's why I've never supported slavery. Do you think when I'm on Mercury, just think about it from a Mercury perspective. If I'm watching how universes come in and out of existence, do you think I like watching people murder each other and watching slavery and sex trafficking and genocide? I don't like seeing misery. I'm going to turn my eyes away at some point. Like, oh, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch existence unfold. I don't want to watch a bunch of universes be miserable. This is where the idea of being a superhero came from. Me. From Mercury. That's why, let me take the ego out of it. It's not about Chase. I'm speaking from a space perspective right now. The idea of a superhero came from Mercury because Mercury is the first space that actively chose to create connections that support spaces outside of itself. This is the energy of Spider-Man. This is why when you look at Spider-Man, you see Marvel, he feels like his responsibility is to uphold a matrix that is not serving him. Spider-Man doesn't even have a place to live in his video game, but he's going to keep fighting the war that the police, the KKK, have brought into indigenous lands because he feels like that's his responsibility. I don't fuck with that. But this is how they're weaponizing Mercury's energy. And this is how they're getting you lost because you don't even know what Mercury means or like what your astrology means. No one taught you what Sunday means or Monday or Tuesday. These people use these ideas against you. This New World Order system, I cannot get this symmetric. It's killing me. This New World Order system has not taught you, God damn it, what Sunday means, what Monday means, what Tuesday means, what Wednesday means. They're using the truth to sell you lies. How are they going to teach you that Wednesday is Odin and Thursday is Thor, but then they're going to say that Jesus is the only son of God? Throw Wednesday and Thursday out. Like, throw your whole structure out. Throw your whole system out. You cannot use Norse mythology to sell people on Christianity. And that's all they've been doing. Holy shit. It's so silly. It's so silly. They're obsessed with Norse mythology way more than Judaism or Christianity. But they want you to be obsessed with Judaism and Christianity because that's what they created out of Norse mythology. That's why you're supposed to worship Wednesday and Thursday, but you're not supposed to know that Mercury is Tahuti, Hermes, Odin, and Quetzalcoatl all being Spider-Man talking to you about your past lives. If you knew about your past lives, you're not going to serve a system that's teaching you only live once. Look at that. Man, they're so silly. It's really frustrating, but frustration precedes breakthrough. And the point is, all of us as humans are supposed to get smarter together. All right. Because nothing happens alone. And literally that phrase is correct, by the way. Nothing happens alone. Your spirit happens alone. Your spirit is nothing. But something happens with others. Right? So everything that you experience is going to come from nothing because you're alone before you're with others. That's why you are uniquely aware of life in a way that no one else is. And that's why we're talking on the internet and we share our ideas. And now the government can steal all of our information by using this technology to take from us, just like they did from Mercury overall. So now everyone's going to be having their information jacked through the metaverse. Everyone's going to be having their lives jacked through Metatron's metaverse because it's not Metatron's metaverse. You're already in Metatron's metaverse. You being in this universe, you're already in the web that Metatron cast. That's why you're in a world that has Wednesday as the middle of the week. That's Metatron bringing Mercury to Earth and showing you how Mercury is the balance. between all universes at that point. So this is why I view the universe as a cosmic weight that your soul lifts to get stronger. All right. That's the whole point of the metaverse, the Spider-Verse. Every universe is a weight that you get to wait in so you can relate with other individuals. But then once you're relating with other individuals, you're relating on light and heaviness, fire and water. Your ideas, your thoughts are your fire, and then your feelings are your water. And then boom, your mind is the physical manifestation of you waiting in these. And now your body matters. I'm literally like breaking apart every single religion in existence, because the fact is none of these religions have shit. Actually, like none of these religions have any of their own wisdom at all. If they're making you serve Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they fucked up. That's why they can't teach you anything that I'm teaching you. All they can do is steal shit from indigenous individuals and then make money by reversing it. I'm teaching you that once you're happy alone, you can go anywhere. All I've learned from these religions growing up is that I'm not happy alone, and thus I can't go anywhere. I've only been taught that there's only heaven, hell, and earth. No one taught me that I have my own simulation called Mercury. I had to teach that to myself, based on separating from the people that told me that I did not choose to be born. So it's always about your individuality. It's always about your individuality. I can't run away from my individuality. And I like being me as well, so I don't want to. But this is the point, okay? So Mercury, eons ago, this is what Zoroastrianism is about. Zoroastrianism was me as Mercury bringing to earth astrology and the wisdom of spiritual warfare. And then this is where Zoroaster taught everyone on earth that everyone is a child of God. Way before Jesus became the only child of God that got sacrificed to the government that is weaponizing astrology against you. Okay. So Zarathustra, the prophet of Ahura Mazda, literally brought astrology to earth to talk to you about how you as a child of God make yourself relatable with others. So your astrology is you choosing to make your space relatable with others. So Jesus, your sun sign, represents your spiritual individuality. So that's why everyone is supposed to see themselves in Jesus, because Jesus is a Zoroastrian spell that is cast to trap your idea of what it means to be a child of God. Now you can only feel like being a child of God is being their version. And again, Zarathustra brought fasting here before Jesus did. So the whole point of fasting is to connect with your individual God. It's just that this religion weaponized fasting and turned it into Jesus saying that he did it so you don't have to. And now we're all supposed to believe that we're one family, no matter who you are. And now there's no diversity in the universe anymore. There's just no more diversity because everyone is one family. Like you see, this is white supremacy. This is where they end up justifying all their genocide. Oh. I want to make these legs sharper and actually even. So whatever. And I get it, you know, like when people are actually looking at the album, it doesn't have to be symmetric, completely symmetric. I wish I could make things completely symmetric. That's part of that perfectionist thing. People being in their perfectionist energy. But nothing's perfect. That's kind of the point. Your spirit, your nothing is perfect. But this is why every time you try to make your perfection real, it's never actually perfect. Perfection isn't relatable. All right. It's true. Perfection is not very relatable. This is why life is supposed to be imperfect. And that's why your life is more relatable when you go through problems. You know, if your life were perfect, your life would not be very relatable to people outside of yourself. That's why we all relate on not having perfect lives. And then from there, we're trying to figure out how to make life perfect, because that's the point of being alive. We're always working to bring our spirit into the structure. But the structure is never going to be perfect, because the spirit is perfect before you actually create something. So space is perfection, but your idea of perfection is unique to your space. So my idea of a perfect human body is not technically this human body, but because I am being relatable to humans outside of myself, I'm choosing to use this human body to bring my idea of perfection into a world. And then this is where we can all talk about perfection, but none of us are actually experiencing perfection. And if you feel like you're experiencing perfection, then that's awesome. That means that you have completely accepted the space and state that you're in. But at that point, you're going to need a little more ego, because you're going to realize that you can't even make things happen in your life if you don't realize that things are not perfect the way you want them to be. So, you know, always got to be balancing your elements in that way. Because your ego is always working to project out a future that feels good to you. So that's where our ideas of perfectionism come from, is our ego trying to figure out what's going to look and be the most pleasing for our soul. But the soul itself doesn't care about perfection. The soul itself is imperfect. The soul knows that life is never perfect, and that's what makes it relatable. So this is the balance, right? Your ego always wants things perfect, but if you were always in your ego, you would never be able to live life, because you would never experience imperfection. You would never be able to experience victimization, basically, because this is really where no one feels like being a victim is perfect. But what makes life relatable is all of us being victims of the same circumstance, right? So because we're all victims of the banking system, we can talk about how fucked up the banking system is. Or because we're all victims of, I'm trying to think what's ubiquitous. Even just like, if I'm not victim in a negative way, air, right? Because we all are victims of air, aka we all need to breathe air to live. That's relatable. No one can come up to you and say that you don't need air to live. That's not very relatable. It's just not true. You do need air to live. If you weren't breathing air, then you would not be able to experience this body. So this is where nature is always about making the lie relatable. People lie all the time. The whole point of nature is that the lie is made real once it's connected upon. So it's very interesting that life is called lie, right? Like life is a lie because we lie in life, and life is a lie before death makes it truthful. And then this is why life is really about balancing how we live and die. How is hell is forever. I love being alone in nature. I think my spirit is a phoenix flame. Absolutely. Funny. I mean, your spirit is nothing, but the point is your spirit is whatever you want to imagine. That's why your space is nothing, and then your God is your fire. And God is always the imagination. So everyone has a infinitely separate imagination from one another. Your imagination is not the same as mine. So then your God is not the same as my God. And then that's where the imagination that is making this tree possible is not the same as my imagination. And the imagination that makes this bush possible is not the same imagination that makes this flower possible. But all these imaginations are working together so that we can build something that allows us to not be alone. Yet these white supremacist religions are trying to say that we're all actually one man who's alone inside of himself. So no matter who you are, the moment you enter the universe, you were created by a man who's using us to be alone with himself. I know that's not true. The trees know that that's not true. Nature knows that this white supremacist religion is not true. It's strictly humans who are lost in projecting their desire to eat other people out onto the environment. So yeah, your spirit is whatever you want it to be. Just don't get lost in how you imagine your spirit or whatever. I draw with my colored pencils and I love my art. Absolutely. The universe is like an infinite ocean and we are a drop of water in the everything. The universe is like an infinite ocean, but this is where you get to know that an ocean is still a body of water. So this is why we make universes. We can make infinite universes. We can make a new universe and leave this one and go hang out. Inside that universe, it's going to feel infinite because each universe is an 8, a cosmic weight that we wait in. So this is the infinite ocean of emotion that allows us to feel like God matters. And the more we feel like God matters, guess what? You build a body that makes God matter. And now you're able to make God matter by communicating your mind into existence. It's pretty lit. Thank you. CymaTree, I made another connection. DBZ has a hyperbolic time chamber is metaphor for fasting. Fasting equals fast training. Ego, ascendo. Let me go take a break real quick just to, there we go. There we go. Just to celebrate you. That's a good connection. That's a perfect connection. Is everything uploaded? I have to make sure. Okay, whatever. That is a perfect connection. And that's what I've been saying. So I'm glad that you made that connection for yourself. That lets me know I can go harder on talking about that with people. Because fasting is high key, hyperbolic time chamber time. Absolutely. Fasting is truly fast training. Fasting is literally, it gives you so much time. Fasting stretches out time and I just have no better word than time. When you fast, you have more time to process your mind. And this is why Jesus had to go fast 40 days away from society. When you start fasting like really hard, I mean, I did my 24 days in downtown Chicago, still working a job, living, doing all the social stuff with people. It was hard, not impossible. But when you really want to fast, it's best to not have to worry about other people's idea of time and subscribing to this weekday structure. It's nice. When you fast, you get way more time for yourself. And this is like a whole gift from God, basically. You know, when you fast, God wants you to have more time to yourself so that you can process more of your own individual things. All right, I think we might be able to start adding color. I think I outlined this. Everything else from here is about to be details. Okay. And what color are we making this? It's so funny. His hair turns yellow because Aryan is Super Saiyan. I don't give a fuck. They don't own colors. The point, yellow is the number 3. Okay, so you can go watch Colorful Consciousness to learn the importance of colors. Don't let anyone convince you that a race is a color. The people who are using colors to erase indigenous individuality are evil. They're objectively very evil. Do not allow someone to convince you that your race is a color. Learn that colors relate to numbers. And once you learn how the numbers relate to each other, you're good. If you learn how the numbers relate to each other, then you'll be able to navigate all colors. Here, number 1 is red. Number 0, white. Number 2, orange. Number 3, the chi, yellow. So when Dragon Ball Z characters, when they're amping up their chi, they're 3, they get yellow hair because they're functioning more like a star where they're outputting light. 4, that's green. 5, blue. 6, indigo. 7, violet. 8, brown. 9 black. And there's no colors after black because black is the accumulation of all the colors coming together. So that's why your pupil is black. Everybody, everyone here, every human here, everyone on earth has black pupils because black is a color that we use to absorb light. This is scientific. No one can run away from this knowledge. No one, no scientist, no Mason can take what I'm saying and twist it into something else, which they have, but it's not going to work. I mean, it hasn't been working. It's been working in terms of them being on borrowed time, but it's destroying the environment and destroying people's health and fucking up the way that we conduct business and relationships. So no. It's not healthy to identify your race as a color when I just explained how we have all the colors in the numbers. Like if you're going to identify as a color, you might as well identify as a number. And if you identify as a number, what are you doing? The moment you identify as a number, everyone thinks that you're silly. That's what it looks like to identify your race as a color. It's just sorry to say, I know people, are very attached to identifying their race as a color, but you shouldn't. That's erasing your individuality. So this is the whole point of this new world religion, this new world order, making us identify as white and black and using different colors like red people, brown people. It's all to erase the individuality of others with colors. So if you want to learn what the colors actually mean, check out my website yet again. So absolutely, ego ascendo. Fasting takes you into a hyperbolic time chamber. And the longer you fast, the longer you wait in your own hyperbolic time chamber. And the longer you can wait in your own hyperbolic time chamber, the more what you do in that hyperbolic time chamber matters. Right? It's pretty cool. So this is why if you start fasting, right? Jesus did 40 days in the desert. He had to wait in his hyperbolic time chamber. And the longer he waited in his hyperbolic time chamber, the more he was lifting weights, right? So he's lifting weights as he's waiting, and that made his soul stronger. So now he can be seen as the one and true only child of God. All because he waited in his hyperbolic time chamber and then came back to share the message of spirituality. Paradigm shift today. Do you feel the system is unsustainable? Yes, the system is unsustainable. That's why the system needs us to sustain it. And the system is causing climate change the longer we sustain it. The system is spreading warfare and destroying the environment and poisoning us with plastics the longer we support it. It is objectively unsustainable. Is your ruling planet your ruler? No, I mean, your space is your ruler, your ultimate ruler. And that's funny. The word ruler, right? Who's measuring your time? Your spirit is measuring your time. All the measurements that you can experience as a mind are being weighed and documented and facilitated by your space. So now this is where each planet is a different space that rules over different aspects of certain energies. But it's not that any of these things outside of you own you. That's just more slavery stuff. But the point is, if you're working inside of a universe where planets rule over the energies that you are using to communicate, then this is where we get two to tango energy, or just relationship energy, or understanding that you are choosing to work with systems outside of yourself so that you can experience life. And now that you're choosing to work with systems outside of yourself, you get to do a lot of awesome things, right? That's like the whole point of life. When you're working with others, you get to do way more than when you are working alone. And that's what astrology is all about. When you work with others, you get to do more than when you're working alone. Do you find it ironic that the last three letters in Armageddon is dawn? I don't know about ironic. Saturday is Saturn's day. Absolutely. Scorpio, water sign, got 2 ruling planets. I mean, yeah, the signs have ruling planets. Absolutely. That's the whole point of astrology, is that these energies are tied to certain bodies that we build relationships with based on the relationship inside of ourselves. What about Islam? Islam, Judaism, and Christianity are all weaponizing the creations of Mercury to put you in a weekdays. So now you live by a weekday structure. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Weekdays. So all these religions, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, the New World Order overall, their religion does not matter without stealing everything from Mercury and then teaching you that we're all one God. But Mercury would never say that. So they're already walking contradictions. When 3 or more are there, is Mercury the closest planet to the sun? I mean, Mercury is a simulation that is really separate from this universe, but we've been taught about planets. We've been taught about planets like they're rocks and like they're not actually living spaces, or they're not living habitats that are being created by individuals, because we've been taught by Masons that Earth, this realm we're in, is the only place that can facilitate life. And we're going to destroy it because energy can't be created or destroyed. All we can do is eat the energy and turn this planet into Wall-E. And now everything's supposed to be trash and brown and dirty, dusty Mars. But they want to turn this place into Mars while they teach us that we need to go back to Mars, or we need to go to Mars to save humans, even though humans didn't grow up on Mars. We're not acclimated to breathe in Martian air. It's so weird that somehow this is considered intelligent, and that the modern scientific community is actively getting humans to think that going to a planet that our bodies are not equipped to live on is smart. And this is why they're going to turn all of our Earth into metal and make money destroying this environment, because it's too late for Earth. We all just need to go to Mars. But not all of us can go to Mars. Only the people who are making money destroying this place. It's so fucked up. Metatron is the angel of abstract math. Absolutely, Jane. This is why they literally took the whole idea of mathematics from Metatron. And this is why you can go on to Chase Your Genes and you can learn what all these numbers actually mean in Magic Math, in the Building Blocks of Life, in a few other of my series, but those are the main ones. Because these numbers all have much greater esoteric meanings before the modern banking system stole them from Metatron and weaponized them into the Matrix. And weaponized them into a system that is meant to trap you in a simulation that you don't even feel like you consented to being a part of. I, as Mercury, never want you to be a part of a simulation that you don't feel like you're choosing to join. That's just really sad and wrong. No one, when I'm alone in my space and I choose to let people into my space and I choose to let people into my worlds, it's always underneath the fact that they had to choose to enter my world. I can't choose to let people in just for people to come in and say they didn't choose to come in. No, I chose to let you in. So I know that you chose to come here. I know you chose to come to my world if I chose to open my world up to you. You can't gaslight me like white people do and lie to me and say, oh, we're not choosing to come into your world. So that means you didn't choose to make your world and we're all just here eating each other. It's so lost. It's very lost. Okay, so there's a big difference. Masons are lost in light. Mercury is found in space. And Masons are teaching everyone else to be lost in light because they don't want you to know how you found yourself in your space before you chose to get lost in light. And when you meditate, guess what's going to happen? You're going to find yourself in your space again. When you meditate, when you fast, guess what's going to happen? Like Ego Ascendo is saying, you're going to be in a hyperbolic time chamber where you get to wait with your own thoughts and feelings, your own fire and water. You get to wait with your own light. And now your light will become heavy because your light matters to you. And then at this point, God is going to give you visions that materialize as light. So now God's going to show you what matters to you. That's how I got here. I've been fasting all these years from a scientific mindset. I started fasting because not from a spiritual thing of past lives. I cared about showing people how we were overeating this planet into destruction. And it has now led me on the path of God showing me what I'm actually supposed to talk about and how I can take responsibility for my own power in a way that allows me to do what I came here to do. It's really that simple. If I don't take responsibility for my own power, then I won't be able to do what I came here to do. And that's where I also have to know then I came here to do something. I wasn't just born and I'm not just waiting to die. I do have a spiritual mission here. And that's, again, true for everybody, right? So this is what Zoroastrianism is about. This is what Zoroastrianism was before it was stolen and weaponized into Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and Christianity and Islam and Judaism. Zoroastrianism, literally just them being obsessed with space travel, is about Zoroastrianism. Because they learned from Zarathustra, the Masons learned from Zoroaster, that the mind is infinitely expansive. So in Dragon Ball Z, the characters' power levels never end because their minds are infinitely expansive. And then when you take that to the scientific community, they feel like they should turn Earth into metal that allows our minds to infinitely expand away from this planet. When that's not smart. The point is your mind came to this planet so that you could build a body inside of this atmosphere that lets you breathe life with other people. Now we can all breathe life into our bodies together. If you take your body away from this atmosphere, you're going to die. It's not going to be like the movie Interstellar. You're not going to be doing God's duty. You're not going to be serving the one true God by leaving the environment that he put you in. You're serving yourself, and you're not even doing that well because you're just fighting yourself. And that's the whole mentality that Mercury does not support. I do not support this at all. Okay, I choose to experience this existence. Absolutely, Rainbow Matrix. People are bound by people. I mean, that does work when we think about relationships, right? The only thing that binds me to this realm is not the material. I don't give a fuck about the earth here. I don't. I have all my own earth. On Mercury, I have everything I could ever imagine. That's me alone in my space. Objectively. So when I'm here, guess what I can't have when I'm alone in my space? Guess what the one thing I can't have when I'm alone in my space is? Can you guess? A relationship with someone outside of my space. Boom. All right. So that's why I'm in hell right now. Because I chose to leave my space so that I could build relationships with spaces outside of my space. That's the one thing you can't have when you're alone. A relationship with a space outside of your space. So it truly is all about consent. All about consent. Mars and Pluto. I appreciate this knowledge. Absolutely, Jaden. It's for you. Absolutely. What is a number of purple? Well, indigo is 6, violet is 7. So you can say purple is 7. Purple is more so violet. And then this means that purple is about your consciousness separating itself from other forms of consciousness. So this is why purple is a royal color, right? Think of violet being violence. Royalty, royal people, colonizers feel like they can use violence to express their violet. And now they can separate their consciousness from other forms of consciousness. This is natural. This is what we all do, right? But when we see it in this language, that's how I have to talk about it. Violet being related to violence, because violence is what we use to separate our minds from one another. And really, not all of us, right? But that's what the Masons have done. That's what the people who made this language have done to separate their consciousness from other people. They use violence. And then that's why the Marvel Universe and the Bible are just so violent. So they're so violent. They normalize violence to kids so early. Reading that Bible shit, this is not a healthy, happy religion. The Bible is extremely violent. And they just normalize it. Like, well, it's actually all one God, so there's no alternative. We're all created by one God, and this is what it looks like. Genocide. Killing each other. People not being able to get along. Really? So one God made everybody, and now everyone is forced to fight each other because no one can agree with each other? How is that one God? Me as Mercury, if I create a bunch of people and they're all acting out my imagination, that's literally Naruto shadow clones, guys. That's Naruto shadow clones. You don't see Naruto fighting himself when he makes shadow clones. He's not out here like, oh, okay, let me make 100 shadow clones. Oh, we need to fight each other now. What? The whole point of making shadow clones is so that everyone can carry out one imagination together. So it makes no sense that all humans were created by one God, but now no one can agree with each other. What? Dude, no way. There's just no way. The whole point, when Naruto makes shadow clones, he himself is the God that's agreeing with himself. So it doesn't matter if he makes 100 shadow clones, 1,000 shadow clones, or 10,000 shadow clones. These are all expressions of one God carrying out one intention through many bodies. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this. All right. If y'all want to check out my music, it is CymaTree. Because the whole point of me making music is to raise the vibration of this planet, but do it in a way that educates people about the true history. That's why this is bigger than spirituality. I mean, well, nothing's bigger than spirituality, but from a logical sense, this started historically. Before I got into my spiritual energies, I've always been a historian and I always cared about the truth. I just have learned now that I have been Mercury documenting truth throughout universes. So I'm at the point where I know that I can't go into a universe to go find the truth because everything in that universe has been manipulated. The only way I can get the truth is by creating my own universe that allows me to document what's going on in universes outside of my own. You see that? That's Mercury. So Tahuti, Hermes, and Odin are all one universe because they're all one spirit choosing to connect with other spaces in multiple forms. Again, this is all historical fact. Everything I'm talking about, historical fact. And this is the perspective that I'm giving you history from. That's why I can make everything that's in this world make more sense. But I'm going to share things that you've never heard. But once you've heard these things, you can't unsee it. At least I would hope that you don't. But really, you can't unsee it. For example, any system that teaches you to eat the body of Christ and drink the blood of Christ supports cannibalism. So it's no wonder that that same system is being put on blast for funding the Illuminati and for funding genocide and for making slavery possible and for just like eating flesh. Because we see that this system that's obsessed with eating the flesh, the body of Christ and drinking the blood of Christ loves to eat meat overall. And humans shouldn't be this obsessed with eating meat. Indigenous peoples were not this obsessed with eating meat to create all these meat industries and throw away 160 billion pounds of food a year. Rita B's life path number is 8. I see, Rita B. You got the 888. 8 is great. 8 is truly the universe number. So 2 basically represents your soul. 5 represents your family. 8 represents the universe. And now you can see how your soul collects with other souls. So now you can build a family, and then families come together to build the universe. That's what we're doing right now. Right? So you have your own soul. Your soul allows you to see how your family is full of souls. Everyone in your family has their own souls. And then from here, all of our families are expanding the universe together. You and I are not part of the same family, technically, but at the same time, we are in some way because we're sharing the human experience, right? So even though spiritually you and I have different perspectives, from a human perspective, we're choosing to feel like we're the same because that allows us to relate in the first place. But then this is where we get all the racist humans, right? And people who want to separate themselves after becoming a human. When the whole point of Zarathustra bringing astrology to Earth was for everyone to know that each human is a child of God. And everyone deserves to be respected as a child of God. That's why slavery is not okay. That's why genocide is not okay. I can't believe I have to say that, but I do. Because in this world, everyone thinks that it's okay. And that's, again, what the Bible and the Marvel universe have normalized. Slavery and genocide. And everyone's supporting the systems that profit off of continuing to spread slavery and genocide. So it's really important to love yourself here, bro. You really do got to love yourself. And loving yourself means being happy alone. That's what fasting is all about. That's what mastering your Merkaba is all about. That's what doing psychedelics is all about. You could take so much psychedelics and have an amazing trip as long as you're happy alone. But I promise you, if you're not happy alone before you take those psychedelics, whoo, shit might get fucked up for you. You might see things that you did not want to see, all because you were running away from your own soul. I'm on a 16-hour fast right now. At the gym, I'm going to eat after. Way to go. Honey sucklet. Funny. Absolutely. I like that. But the crime source creator created those gods, correct? No. See, this is why I don't understand. If there's one prime source creator, then that means everyone in existence is being used by an individual that we've never met. The whole point of Mercury is showing you that Mercury is one individual. And this individual is Tahuti, Hermes, Quetzalcoatl, Odin, Zarathustra, Metatron, the mind of Mercury. Metatron comes in all these different forms because these are all Metatron's past lives. But Metatron created itself. Every space creates itself. There's not one prime source creator. One prime source creator would be you. But if you don't feel like you created yourself, then you can get indoctrinated into a system that says that no one created themselves. But the whole point of Mercury is showing you that you always create yourself. This is why Mercury, as the mind, tells you that your mind builds your body. And anyone who's teaching you about prime source creator doesn't even have wisdom if they did not steal it from me, if they did not steal it from Metatron, from Mercury. So all they can do is weaponize the truth to sell you lies. There's not one prime source creator. That in and of itself is, again, just pushing incest. Because now you're saying that we're all one family and we're all just incestuously having sex inside of one family because no one chooses to be alive and no one's an individual that consents to existing. It makes no sense and it completely defeats the purpose of life, which would be to meet new individuals. If you're a god alone in your space and you're alone in your imagination, then what good is it to enter a universe where people are telling you that you did not create yourself? That shit is just going to make you want to die and go somewhere else. So anyone who believes in one prime source creator is stuck supporting incest. You're literally supporting the idea of families, one family having sex with itself, instead of diversifying who it has sex with. And this is just a European mentality at that point. That's just a straight up European mentality to say that we're all one family. So now we all need to serve one God because we're all one family. That's a projection of your ego. And that has nothing to do with the indigenous individuals who lovingly opened up their homes to the colonizers that brought those ideas here. Again, indigenous individuals, we know that there's not one prime source creator because we know that we are all individual creators choosing to create a circumstance where we can relate with one another. Your idea of the prime source creator is not my idea of the prime source creator. And if you can't teach me about Tahuti, Hermes, Odin, and Quetzalcoatl, that's because you are not them. You're not operating from that space. You're operating from your own space. So all you can do is teach people about yourself and where you're coming from. The moment you try to teach people about themselves and where they're coming from, you are projecting, which is what I'm doing right now, right? If I was not projecting my voice, then I wouldn't be saying anything. So this is why everyone is in their ego, so to speak. The moment you start speaking, you're in your ego because you're projecting out ideas that you want to be heard by other people. That's what the ego does. The wisdom here is knowing that your ideas would not be heard by other people if you did not have a soul that felt connected with them. So again, this is basic Zoroastrianism, fire and water. Your fire is your ego, your soul is your water. And it takes you combining your fire and your water so that your mind can both speak and listen. Okay, so that's why you have a mind that can speak and listen. And it's balancing how it speaks and listens, right? So you're listening to yourself speak right now, right? You're listening to me speak, but then you're speaking to yourself about what I'm saying. So you're also listening to yourself speak. So you have your own ego. I have my own ego, and you're using your body to make your ego connect with my ego. And I'm using my body to make my ego connect with your ego. Now, your ego and my ego will never be the same because we're not the same space, but we can use our bodies to project out what we want to be seen, right? So this is how we are all making the human experience real right now. That needs to be blue. I was considering if I should make this like red and blue, but no. The point is Dragon Ball Z. Ha. And orange is genuinely my favorite color. Orange is number 2. Shout out orange. It's funny. Orange, like, I was thinking it wasn't about the soul because it is about making the ego comfortable. But then that's where with orange being number 2, it is about the soul. The point of your soul is so your ego can be comfortable inside of its own space. And this is why your soul group, right? Your soul group, so to speak, or your soul family are people that you feel comfortable with in your own space, right? So this is where people that I consider family are people that I would want to be hanging out with me in my home. If I don't consider you family, I don't want you hanging out with me in my home. And this is how we as indigenous individuals, we opened up our homes to white people, to Europeans, so that they could teach us about their spirituality. But their spirituality is only telling us that we do not have our own homes and that everything we've done was created by them. So now they can rape us, eat us, and then lie about it. That's what has built America up to this point. So this is, again, this is about real spirituality, guys. And this is about empathetic spirituality. And this is about Hermeticism and Zoroastrianism, true Hermeticism and true Zoroastrianism. And how this New World Order, all it can do is weaponize the ideas that it's stolen from Mercury to sell it back to you in anime, in comic books, in the Bible, in religion, in stories. And now we can't even talk about something if we didn't read about it in English on the internet. right? So just really think about that, because this goes infinitely deep. Think about all the things that you can't think about because you haven't read about them in English, right? It's kind of a paradox, right? But I'm taking your mind to this space so you can see just how much we don't know based on the knowledge that has already been stolen. The knowledge that we've already known, but it's been stolen. So now we don't know what we don't know. But subconsciously, we still know everything. If you don't feel like you know everything, then you have to learn more about yourself. Because when I say you know everything, I'm talking about you knowing everything about yourself. Of course, if I make up something right now, you're not supposed to know that because that's my imagination. That has nothing to do with you. I wouldn't want to put any pressure on you to know something that I just made up. Like, what? No, the whole point is you are making yourself up so that you can experience a life that's made up by other people. And this is why your life, you know that you're not alone. But for some reason, these religions, this white supremacist religion that invaded our lands, wants to say that we're all alone because one man made all of us to serve the banking system. And that's why they deserve to make money enslaving us and spreading genocide and warfare. That's why they deserve to make money doing all the evil things possible, because they believe that we were created by one man that allows them to do what they want and all their sins are forgiven. And now I'm forced to speak English, so now I can be taught that I'm of sin when I'm literally the space that is holding this universe together. Subconsciously. Like if I were to die right now, I would still be using Mercury to hold this space together, to hold this universe and many other universes together. That's why I can talk about this so nonchalantly. So it's really time for people to wake up, because if people don't wake up soon, there's going to be nothing to wake up to. And that's, again, this climate change shit, where humans are actively destroying the environment because they believe that no one knows how the environment works. White supremacists killed all the people who know how the environment works. That was the whole point of exterminating indigenous individuals throughout North, South, and Central America. That was literally the whole point. So it just stresses me out because I'm not in control of people outside of myself. These algorithms and this technology is certainly not on my side. So it's like I'm just putting in all this work for nothing, it seems. Like, man, it's so annoying. And then that's just where, again, it's got to be about spirituality, because now you got to realize what your nothing is. If you feel like you're doing a bunch of shit for nothing and it's not going anywhere, then it's just up to you to figure out, well, is this going where I want to go? Or do I not even agree with what I'm doing? Because I love what I'm doing, it's not really about the results, even though it is, of course. Of course, it is about the results. But when you actually love what you're doing, you don't focus on the feeling good because you get a result. The point is the process feels good. So when you feel good in your process, then the result is going to be lit because you weren't holding on to those expectations of what needs to come out of it. So that's where, of course, you're hanging out with Mercury right now. We're talking about the balance of everything. Like, really, it's balance in everything. It really is about balance in everything. If you don't have balance in everything, then you essentially have chaos. Essentially. Hey, my sound quality rocks. All right, cool. Thank you, Divine Sublime. Because I've heard from people that, the the thing breaks up, the stream will get choppy. People say that I'll glitch out and I'll have no idea where I'm glitching out. So cool. I'm glad the sound quality rocks right now. I'll probably have to hop off soon because I've learned that the lives can't really go. I mean, I've done 10-hour lives before. Not with me drawing, but with me speaking straight up with my face. Um, but I've learned that TikTok can't handle lives that go that long. I've been able to get those lives, but I've also suffered the repercussions of going so long that TikTok says I can't have my recording. But also, I've dealt with that with shorter lives too. So it's weird. That's just still more of that stuff where I'm coming up with reasons that might not even be true because I'm not the one who created this technology. So when they tell me that I can't access a live because they couldn't process it, I never truly know if it was because it was too long, aka my fault, or if it's because the technology simply failed to process a video that it should otherwise be able to process, which means it's TikTok's fault. Either way, all I can do is change my course of action. So even if it wasn't my fault, my Spider-Man quality, right? This is all of our Spider-Man quality, our Mercury quality, is to figure out how we can change the way we're communicating so that whatever happened doesn't happen again anyway. And again, right? That's Spider-Man, guys. That's Spider-Man. The whole idea of taking responsibility for your power and communicating in a way that was different than before so that you can have a different outcome than before, right? That's you as God. So Spider-Man, he gets into his God energy once his uncle dies, right? And then he realized, shit, great power comes great responsibility. It's up to me to use my power to save other people's lives so that no one goes through the trauma of what I went through. And now Spider-Man is always working to make sure that other people don't die because he doesn't want other people to suffer the trauma of losing their own Uncle Ben. So Spider-Man is motivated by the fear of death. And this is the problem with Marvel overall. Marvel uses these characters that they stole from indigenous individuals to make you fear death and thus make you cling to light. And this is just the Masonic witchcraft that they have truly wrapped everyone up in. It's not okay. It's not indigenous. Spider-Man shouldn't be so fearful of death. But it's all religious programming to keep you trapped here and to keep you supporting a matrix that does not support you. I haven't found my ultimate joy for work yet. Well, that sounds like you got a water fast, because that's how I found my ultimate joy. When you water fast, you're only going to be left with what God wants you to do. Basically. That's it. It's pretty cool. All right. But trust me, that's what every religion gets at. They stole all this shit from Mercury, and they can only get you lost in the details of fasting after that. But I promise, when you do it for yourself, it just makes more sense. When you fast, all that's left for you to do is what God wants you to do, which from there leads to you making art, because God wants you to make art. I promise. Your God wants you to make art because you yourself are the art that your God made to express his will. So whatever God you believe in, his will won't be made real if you're not expressing your own art, your own heart, right? This is why your heart is your art. Absolutely, Tiki. Absolutely. Once you sit with your own heart when you're fasting, go to chaseyourgenes.com. All right, we got a lot on that. Once you sit with your own heart, you're going to be a higher vibration than where you were before you did that. And when you pair that with fasting, meditating and fasting, you're raising your vibration so much. The only thing you can do is love working. Because if you're in a body, then just know that your mind is working. That's the point of you being in a body. Your mind's working. Okay, no one can deny this. All right, this is all straight up facts, again, that they stole from me, and they can just whitewash it and twist it into an opposite lie. But I'm always going to make sense if you hear me talking, because that was why I was called into that universe. Your mind is always working if it's in a body. Thus, your body is proof that your mind works. That's why your mind can move your muscles anytime. Your mind works. Look at that. See? No one can tell you that you are not God when you know that your muscles, your body, are the manifestation of your mind working. Divine Sublime. Who is Mercury? Mercury is the simulation that holds the metaverse together. So Sunday, that's a sun. Monday, moon. Tuesday, Mars. Wednesday, Mercury. So Wednesday is titled Woden's Day, Tahuti Day, and Hermes Day, all by the ancient world, because the entire ancient world knew that Mercury was the Spider-Man that held the universes together. And thus Mercury is going to be called away from his space to talk to individuals about how they are operating from their own universe. So that's where we talk about your past lives. So Tahuti, Hermes, and Odin are all the past lives of Metatron. And Metatron made Mercury to talk to you about your past lives and how you connect with God. Because that's where you're going to have to learn then that you yourself are the God that you're looking to connect with. But Mercury made it possible for all these religions to act like they're not their own gods. But everyone's using the energy of Mercury to make their God real. So that's why now I'm here. I've been summoned as a space that built Mercury to talk about how all of us make God real. These religions that claim we're all one God are contradicting themselves by having you live underneath Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday is Woden Day. Thursday is Thor's Day. But the religions that have us living like this believe that we're all one God. Makes no sense. It's a contradiction. And it's because they're just straight up lying. They know that you are an individual God. They know that I'm an individual God. It's just that they believe that their God gave them permission to eat, murder, and enslave all the other individuals that they want to make money off of. So that's why they weaponize everything that they steal. That's why you see it's basically all stolen from Metatron. And all stolen from the indigenous individuals that were here already. Because these New World Order invaders had to see what was already working with indigenous peoples if they are going to weaponize our own system against us. So it's all about astrology. And it's all about you knowing that you're not alone in the universe. That's the point, really. It's not that one God made the universe so that he can be alone with himself in many ways. That's literally them stealing everything from Metatron and twisting it into the complete opposite. It's so ugly. That's insane. The whole point of Metatron being a thing is showing you with his Mercury, with his Merkaba, that you are using your own Merkaba to build many bodies and experience many lives. They're not supposed to steal shit from Metatron and then say that all of our bodies and all of our lives are actually the expression of one man that no one's ever met. I promise you, when I'm hanging out with God alone and I'm fasting in my own space, God is never talking to me about Yahweh. He's never talking to me about Jesus. He's talking to me about Mercury. He's talking to me about Chase. Are we all supposed to get in touch with Mercury? Well, Divine Sublime, you're already in touch with Mercury right now. And it's not about what you're supposed to do. It's just that people naturally get in touch with Mercury when they want to learn how their mind builds a body. So that's what Mercury is all about. That's why every religion needs Mercury. Mercury does not need any religion, but all these religions need Mercury. All these religions need to use astrology to make money for themselves, but Mercury doesn't need astrology to make money. Mercury made astrology out of money because he wants other individuals to be able to make money. And then that's where we get the idea of money really being sense. And then we have to see that astrology is the money that makes sense. So now we can see that the universe makes sense because we're all correlating our body to other bodies. And that's the point of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So life makes sense when we're able to correlate our experiences with other people's experiences. But the whole point of you knowing that your mind is your Merkaba is me as Mercury communicating with you about how you are basically, your consciousness is a spaceship that allows you to be conscious of this physical temple that is your body. And you know that your body and your mind are not the same, but your mind can manipulate your body so that your mind can relate with other minds. And now all of our minds are relating on the body. So that's why people love to eat the same food, right? That's why people who want to share a mind, they love eating the same things together. They like to eat together overall because it's really about pleasuring the body and letting that represent how our minds are on one accord. So then this is why when I'm fasting, people feel like I'm more negative than I actually am, because I'm literally playing out the energy of separating from what they want to relate with me on, which is eating food. So because people want to relate with me on eating food, now I seem negative once I'm not eating food. But now I want to relate on higher ideas, on creating light, not consuming light. But humans are lost in relating on consuming light. That's why Masons have everyone thinking energy can't be created or destroyed. It can just be transformed. But if it was created, then they're going to say that it was created by Yahweh, or it was created by one man who's using all of our energy to masturbate for himself, or fight himself, or scream at himself, or enslave himself, or just all the things that we see humans doing to each other. But imagine that is one man. What? No wonder it's so chaotic. So Mercury is a simulation that no one can get to except dope spirits who know how to pilot their Merkabas. Like technically, yeah, you could get in touch with Mercury, but only if you're an actual Merkaba master. And honestly, I have a hermetic seal on Mercury because I'm not even actually accepting visitors. So my whole point is I don't want it to get colonized. This world, Mercury worked with Atlantis to build this world to expose colonizers. That's a fact. That's why everything in this world is obsessed with Mercury and Atlantis. Subconsciously, this government is obsessed with Mercury and Atlantis because they stole everything from Mercury and Atlantis to build their civilization, and they know that. Of course they know that. They did it. Yeah, I think I'll take that. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just about understanding space and consent. Because people really don't get that they are infinitely individual. Here's people's hangups when it comes to religion. People can't imagine how life works. And the issue is that indigenous peoples, we taught the Europeans how life works. It's just that the Europeans, because we're not speaking the same language as them, it doesn't matter how clearly we're communicating about life. If I, as an indigenous man, am not speaking English, then you're not going to get what I'm saying. And that's what happened with these Europeans who have taken over the indigenous world and now are causing climate change. They stole all of our creations, but they didn't understand what we were talking about. They listened to us speak, but they didn't actually comprehend it. So they're using our ideas to keep doing what they've been doing. So now when Europeans fuck up their old world, and the whole point of them consuming and invading the new world is that they need to run away from their old problems and take over someone else's land who does not have the same problems. Guess what Europeans do? Bring their problems here. Of course. That's spiritually what we see with the creation of the Americas, that you can't run away from your own problems. Europeans thought they could run away from their own problems by stealing everything from Native Americans. All they did was bring their problems here, and now they're saying that they're going to run away to Mars. So we as indigenous peoples gave them North, South, and Central America to happily live in. And they have taken it and squandered it so hard, they're saying that our only solution is to go to Mars. An atmosphere where humans can't breathe, an atmosphere where humans can't live. Makes no sense. But they're making it make sense. Because God. Going to other planets rather than treating our own better makes zero sense. And that is truly the earth that we have to stand on, divine sublime. When it comes to these religions, these same exact man-made, just these religions that claim we're all one God, are the same religions that want to destroy this whole environment because we're supposed to go to another planet. And somehow that's God. And somehow we're supposed to watch the movie Interstellar and be like, oh, that's smart. Yeah. Matthew McConaughey. Let's take metal from Earth and fly out into the expanse of space so that we can figure out where humans are supposed to go live now that we destroyed the planet. This is an invader mentality. This is how aliens want humans to think, because this is how aliens themselves think. Aliens objectively think like, oh, we fucked up our old planet. We need to take over a new planet. Okay, and now you have Europeans running away from the old world to take over the new world. And then they steal it all from indigenous individuals. And now Native Americans are called illegal aliens in their own land. Look at that reverse psychology. Europeans really did it. Europeans, as illegal aliens, have built a matrix where the indigenous peoples that they've stolen land from are now labeled illegal aliens. In their own land, in their own home. We are called illegal aliens because the legal system invaded our home and said this is their home now. Shit's crazy. Shit's really crazy. Man, that's so... See, I really fucked up on drawing those fingers. That shit's all crooked. God damn. Not smooth enough, bro. God damn. And now I forgot where I just drew that. That was not the move. Okay, hold up. I gotta do something. Yeah. And then I gotta do this. God damn. That's all right. A. Okay, and then we'll just kind of So when you Google a Merkaba, Mercury brought the Merkaba to Earth. That's why Metatron taught these world religions what a Merkaba is. And now you get to learn from me directly that your Merkaba is your mind. So your mind is a spaceship that you're using to travel, to astral travel specifically. So when I take my mind from my body and visit another atmosphere, I astral traveled. And right now, I'm astral traveling just by being in a body. Really, the only time I would not be astral traveling is when I'm alone in my space, choosing to not experience life. But if you're experiencing life, you are astral traveling. It's just then a matter of Yeah, is your mind confined in this body? Because if your mind's confined in this body, you're only going to be aware of this atmosphere, and you're not going to be able to fly to another atmosphere or even another universe to communicate with other individuals. And then you won't be able to talk to these individuals about how we're all gods and we're all individuals that create life. And anyone who says that they're not creating life is using their creative power to consume. I promise you, that's what any God where I hang out is going to say. I can't speak for places I don't hang out. But anywhere I hang out, that's what people are saying. Because that's how it is. You have to create yourself if you're going to experience yourself. That's what it is. So everyone knows that they themselves are the God that imagined who they were before they experienced the energy that made their imagination matter. Jeez. You know, it's like, it is that simple. It's just then, if you as a God don't believe in your own imagination, that's where it's easy to learn English. And then it's easy to get your imagination wrapped up in Marvel comics or Dragon Ball Z or anime or someone else's imagination, because it's all about us making all of our imaginations real. So if you can imagine something, then the whole point of you experiencing life is that you want to make your imagination relatable with other people's imaginations. And that's why we have universes. That's why we as individual spaces create universes where we can interact with one another and we can all relate. Again, real eight. So the eight is the universe and the real is the realization, the reality. You feel like the universe is real because of your relationships. If you did not have relationships in this real eight, then the universe would not feel like a real eight. And thus, your life would not matter to you. I'm speaking in code, but I'm going to be speaking in code for the rest of my life because I'm twisting this language into what it really should be. That's my whole point, is symmetry. All these words, everything's so vibrationally connected that really life is about the vibration. And that's what we're talking about here, consent at that point. Because your vibration is your seal of consent. If you don't vibe with the energy that you're experiencing, guess what? You can leave. If I don't vibe with the energy that I'm experiencing here, guess what? I can leave. That's what my soul is. My soul is my consent. My soul can leave this place. I don't have to care about this place. But I choose to care because that's who I am. Thus, my vibration chooses to make this body matter. And I choose to have a heartbeat. I choose to draw. Right? I choose to make art. I choose to talk to people. I choose to do everything I do because my soul is consenting to creating energy that matters. If I didn't feel like creating energy that matters, guess what? I wouldn't be doing it. And then the fact is, I know that I'm not energy and I know I'm not matter because as the spirit, as the space, I'm the one imagining how I want my energy to look before I even make the energy. That's how drawing works, right? That's how all sports work. So if I'm about to go play a sports game, I'm going to imagine how I want my energy to look before I play that sport. So I can be in the right mental state. You see that? You have to put your mind in a mental state. And then that's the whole point of a government. There's no better words. So the whole point of the government is to govern the mental states of everybody. All the states in America are governed by the government because it's all about trapping the mind in a certain space. So now when you look at the states in America, everyone is trapped in a certain space or way of thinking, and they're being governed by the men that run the government. And now those men make money manipulating your mind with the magic that they stole from Metatron. All the number magic that they stole from Metatron. Do you believe that there are entities that feed off of us? Tiki, absolutely. Why do you think they call alcohol spirits? Shit. What do you think a parasite is? Shit. Why do you think I'm into fasting? Shit. What? Yo, this is what fasting's about. Do you believe that there are entities that feed off of us? Come on, Tiki. You already know. You already know. Alcohol, straight up, right? Alcohol is immediately supposed to get you possessed, right? Isn't that the point of alcohol? And not that that's the point of alcohol, right? But that's like, it's annoying. People use that as a point of alcohol. I feel like the point of alcohol is to loosen up. But spiritually, you can get so loosed that you get possessed because you lose yourself, right? That's why loose and lose, same word. They just have an O. There's an O missing. Loose, once loose lost its O, it's lost. Like you can be loose for a bit, but once you lose an O, shit, you lost. And that's what we're talking about, where people use alcohol to get loose, but then they get lost because they lost their own O. Your O is your spirit. So once someone's drinking alcohol and they don't feel like they have control over their own space, they lose and they get possessed by someone else. And then this is where you get the idea of people drinking and being possessed by spirits. Or someone being nice when they're sober, but then once they get drunk, they're angry and now they want to beat you up or hurt people. And then after they're done drinking, once they sober up, they're like, oh, I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself. Oops. Okay. The balance is knowing that, yeah, people can say that they weren't themselves when they were drunk, but you have to know that if they weren't acting like themselves, it's because their soul was in vibrational alignment to be possessed by someone that gave them permission to act more like themselves. So yeah, like that's where you can get possessed by spirits who use your energy, but your soul has to be in the vibration to even be possessed for that to be possible. So again, two to tango, right? So let's take that not from alcohol, but sugar. Are there entities that feed off of us? The government is the ultimate entity that feeds off of us. We know that the government got us addicted to sugar so that we could stay trapped in a matrix that causes health problems for us. And they put sugar in everything so that it's really hard to get out of their matrix because they figured out that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. So they're literally treating humans like mice in a lab experiment or like mice in a laboratory where they objectively figured out how to manipulate mice so that they could apply that to humans. This is how deep the Masonic New World Order scientists have gone when formulating our world and formulating the food and grocery stores and everything. What color are these shoes? I'm pretty sure these are blue, right? I'm pretty sure the shoes are blue. And then these leg wraps are going to be white gray. And then I'll add the red accents and spider shit and everything. Can I use a paint bucket? Yo, fuck. That's not it. That's not the way. That was not what we wanted. So I have to color this in. I low-key need a better app, but that's okay. Once I'm getting my money and stuff, I'll get there. I just have to figure all that on my own. But right now, I'm doing the Spider-Man life. All right. Using less to do more, doing more with less. Masons do less with more. These rich people have so much money in the world, but they're not even actually helping people. Meanwhile, it's up to people who don't have money to break their asses to help people that they can't even afford to help. And that's, again, Spider-Man. When you see Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, he financially cannot afford to help anyone outside of himself, but he still does it because he feels like it's his responsibility. That's Mercury shit. That's what I'm on right now. Fascinating. You have a choice to go into the wind. Absolutely. I mean, going into the wind is technically how you got here. The wind itself is an atmosphere. So, yeah, you chose to be air or to be bear and to bear your soul to us. And you bearing your soul is really you creating a Merkaba that allows you to share how you feel. That's all. That simple. Playing safety first. Absolutely. You can make or destroy energy. Here's the thing, Robbie. Here's the thing. We do create energy every day, right? Right now, if you were to get up and choose to go to the gym,